Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel here. So a couple videos ago, I let you guys know that I started hearing brake issues, right? And I guess I should correct myself there. It's not brake issues, more so it's just the brakes wore out. The noise was really coming from the rear end of the car, which was kind of shocking to me because rear is usually the ones that go the last, right? Or they go last, I should say. Now, when you start hearing like brake wear, typically you'll hear a noise like a that's kind of your first indication of it. Where it's, I believe it's where the pad is at, where it's meeting that line. And that's to really notify you that you need to get them swapped out. I want to say I really ignored it. Probably the wrong thing to do, right? But I ignored it for like, I don't know, maybe like a week. And then after a week, I heard all just straight grinding. So I'd be driving and you try to brake and all you heard was like really, really bad, really, really loud. So I said, how could that happen? This is a brand new car basically, right? I only have 19,000 miles on it. So I ordered a whole brake upgrade kit, but it was taking its time to kind of get delivered to the house. And that time I really just needed brakes ASAP, right? So I did a swap last week and I didn't do it on camera just because it made no sense. Yes, my dad put up a pool for the kids, by the way. It made no sense to show that because there was really nothing there. I was just gonna put on regular brakes. It wasn't anything, you know, aftermarket. So now that the brakes are here, now we can fully do the upgrade. I will say this, I'm a little shocked that the rear brakes go out first. I guess it may be a known issue, especially with the ITS. And I believe it's just because of so much heat that builds up in the back on the rear brakes. Not sure, don't quote me. That's what I've read, that's what I've seen in forums. You guys can comment down below and really let me know. So apparently it's a known issue. I just looked at the fronts right now. The fronts look fine. When I took out the pads in the rear though a week ago, those things were on metal. And I'll put this picture here so you guys can see it. But that's exactly how bad the rear brakes were. Once again, I don't know why it's like this, but from what I've read, it's just due to heat. So we're gonna hopefully correct that today. And as you can see by the thumbnail, we're going with the Paragon upgrade kit. There's a ton of parts you can go to for brakes, right? The front comes with Brembo. When I looked at the Brembo, they were crazy expensive. Would I love to do it? Sure. Maybe in the future they'll sponsor a video and they'll give me the whole kit, right? For now though, we're gonna test out the Paragon kit. I heard a lot of great things about Paragon. I know people that personally run it on their ITS. Shout out to the Discord channel as well, man, for helping me out. But there was a slew of them, right? I just decided to go with Paragon. It seemed like the safest bet. And we're also going with a really nice setup. I will say just off the top, I didn't go with the actual upgraded brake caliper. That portion of it was a bit too much money. And in reality, I want to do all the engine mods before I spend $2,500 on just a brake caliper setup for the front, not even anything for the rear. So it just felt money was spent better that way. So that's what I'm gonna chase after. Now, I get it, some people might say, oh, but you need to brake your car, right? I do. This will be plenty, trust me. I'm not worried about that. I wanna get the engine finished and the last of the mods finished. So I figured the money that I could have spent on the front brake, like Paragon 6-piston caliper upgrade, would be way better going to the upgraded turbo for the car. So that's how I'm gonna play it. That's how we're gonna do it. I've already taken out the boring part. And when I say boring part, I mean, I've already jacked up the car all along, all fours. I've taken off the tires. So we're just gonna jump right in, guys. I will do a little explaining at this beginning portion of it, just because you do have to release the rear brakes. And to do that, you need a special little tool. So let's jump into the driver's seat and we're gonna go right ahead and get into this video. All right, guys? As mentioned earlier, right, you need a special tool to release the rear brakes. So this is a two-parter, right? I need to release it from the parking brake, right? So turn the car into the on position, press your brake, release it from the console itself, right? You're gonna hear it disengage. Then I got this nifty little tool. Shout out to the Discord channel again around Acuras. They're the ones that pointed me to this. I got this on Amazon, and this is the Creator Elite tool. And you can do everything, right? Diagnostics, you can reset codes. If you have a code that pops up because you put in an air intake cistern or an aftermarket part, you can remove it with this guy. We're gonna use it to release the brake system and put the brakes into maintenance mode. And then once we release it, it'll bring out the caliper enough to remove it from the rear brakes. That's essentially what it does. If you don't do this step, guys, you are not gonna be able to change the rear brakes. And this is only for the rear, you don't have to do it for the front. All right, guys, so we went into the OBD2 section. It's gonna point you to an Acura so Acura version 49.5, right? So if you guys can see that on the screen. We're gonna click on Common Special Function. Then we're gonna click on where it says Brake Reset. And when you hit Brake Reset, it's gonna bring you to this screen called Brake Pad Maintenance Mode. And that's what you want. So we're gonna push the Brake Pad Maintenance Mode button. It's gonna warn me, right, that we gotta hit OK for this to take place. You hit OK. You're gonna go to, you have two options here. It's enter Brake Pad Maintenance Mode and then exit it. We're going to enter it, hit OK once again on the prompt. Right? And then it releases them. And then it says the transition to pad exchange mode has been completed. Perform rear pad maintenance. And then once we're done, we'll just go back and hit back into normal mode. That's it. So as far as this guy is concerned, we're done. We could go to the back and start working on what we need to work on. Not sure if you guys can see it, but where my finger's at right here, that is a sensor you need to take out. And the clip is on the back end, so you have to lift it up and then pull out, just as an FYI. And then we have two 17mm bolts. There's one right here and then one on the bottom. And that's essentially what holds in the caliper. So we're gonna go ahead, remove the sensor, remove these two bolts, and we'll be good to go. I've already done this side, so this part should come out, quite easily. It's this guy I'm worried about, but I've already lubed this guy up right here because you have to remove the star screw. And then if it doesn't want to just wiggle out, I'll go to my plan B. Plan B is just bang the hell out of it until it gets out. So let's get in. I don't think I'm gonna have to do a ton of explaining in this video. I'll show you the new rotors in a bit. They do look really, really nice. The front ones are crazy heavy, so I'm expecting some really good brake power out of it. But let's just get this going. It's hot. When in doubt, get the tubo out, just so y'all know. The screw for the rotor doesn't want to come out. Surprise, surprise, right? So here's what other YouTubers don't show you. Sometimes these things are a pain in the butt. Now we're gonna really put some heat to it. You guys seen we did a little blowtorch earlier? Then it worked. Got a big one now. So let's see what happens. First side is out now. As you can tell, a lot of heat. And actually didn't want to come out. The bolt itself did strip. So what we ended up having to do was drill it out. Drilled it out enough to where we got, there was salt built up on it and a couple things due to the elements and me driving it in the winter. Chiseled that out. I think we did that off camera. And then finally just drilled it out, decided we're not gonna need that screw anyway, right? I hate that they put that there. I get why they do it, but it's unnecessary. So we got it out, as you can see right here, and that's where we drilled out. So we'll have to get that out. We'll do that right now. I'll just drill it out some more. No big deal. Or see if there's a manner where we can grab it and we say in Spanish, an alicate, but like a plier, and see what we can do there. But that's what she looks like. I'm gonna probably grind this up and clean it up a bit because this looks like crap, and then see if there's something I can put on it so it doesn't get so rusty and nasty. But rear driver's side is about to be done. I'm gonna go tackle now the passenger side just to get it to look like this. Hopefully it's not as rough as this side was, because this side was a pain. So hopefully that side is a little more respectful. All right, so let's hop on over there. Rotor's off. Now we just gotta get the new guy on. Looks sexy, doesn't it? Look at that. So, a couple things I gotta do here first. Number one, I need to bring my guy to the front here. And I forgot, this thing didn't like me last time. We need to get this bad boy in position. One other thing I gotta do though is, there we go. I guess I could do a little explaining here because you're gonna have to. This is the Rivera Revolution's learning session. Get away from me, bug. God, they're everywhere. The Integra where you're gonna put the brake pads into, this piece, it basically mounts up like this on the rotor, right? And then you put the 2 bolts to the back, done. What ends up happening here is you have these 2 screws. With these 2 screws, you need to remove one of them. If you don't remove one of them, you won't get enough play to remove the caliper from the rotor itself. So what I did was I removed the right one because the left one constantly hits a portion of it, which is dumb. So remove the right one, you'll be able to take the whole assembly out. Now, what you end up doing is you put this guy on first, put the pads in, call it a day. It's that simple. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get these guys in, and then the last piece of it, which they don't tell you, but when you put it in maintenance mode, the caliper itself, this needs to go pushed in more. Man, I can't get it close enough. But basically where the caliper meets, right, when you put it in maintenance mode, this part retracts back inside. I'm gonna see if I get enough clearance this time, but last time I had to push it in with one of these guys. So if I have to, I'll push it in a bit more just to give me more clearance. We'll see you in a bit, but that's exactly what's about to happen right now, all right? I will say Paragon didn't include another screw, which kind of sucks because the other one was stripped and we had to drill it out. So, wah, wah, wah. But I'll make it work, don't worry. Just like that, guys. 1 is done. Only 3 left to go. Let's get to the other ones. But look how nice that looks, man. It makes a huge difference. It should make a huge difference with my stopping power too. So hopefully these last longer and they don't go out as quickly as the other ones did. So we'll see. Like I said, this will be a test. So let's find out. It's the next day here, guys. Sorry, but your boy got a little tired yesterday. We went at it for a while. All the brakes were not fun to play with, I will say that. So just as a brief recap, we had to drill out all the screws for all the rotors. They were all bad. They didn't want to come out. They all got stripped. So the easiest way just to circumvent it was to drill them out. That's okay. It'll stay on there. I'm not worried about that. But I was able to manage to get the full rear done. So I guess I can go, let me go to the other side of the car. It's a bit easier to see. But we got the rear completely done. So if you want to see what it looks like, that's what it now looks like with the Paragon slotted rotors on it and the brakes. So it looks really nice. You'll be able to appreciate it a lot more on the front, I think, since they're bigger. But today's goal is to tackle the front, get it done. The passenger side is almost done. I just got to get the brake caliper off. I didn't see anything online in terms of how to remove the front brake pads on the Acura Integra Type S. It's pretty simple, actually. All you gotta do is just get a push pin and you're gonna push these guys out. There's 2 of them here, one on the top, one on the bottom. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna first bolt up the caliper again just because I don't want this to move or shuffle anywhere. And then I can go ahead and once you remove the pins, you just take out the brakes from the top, or at least the brake pads. So it's really, really simple, not that difficult. We're gonna go ahead and do that now. Get ready for a little time lapse action because we're gonna get through the front, both the passenger and the driver's side all at once, all right? So with the power editing, we're gonna go through it as quickly as we can, all right? So the car's finally done, guys. Now, I gave it a couple days after the last clip you just seen on purpose. I wanted to run the car, I wanted to see how it felt, wanted to see how it reacted. And then I also wanted to see, one of the biggest things was how much brake dust gets kicked up on the rims, right? That is a huge problem with the stock ones. Not sure why. These are slightly better. We'll start with the worst one, right? The brake dust. These are slightly better. I want to say I've been driving it now for what? 5-6 days, somewhere around that time frame. Now I'll show you what they look like here. This is the front side. So the front isn't as caked up as it would have been with the stock one, so that's a plus. Not too bad there, right? I'm not seeing it especially stuck on the caliper itself. The caliper has stayed clean, so that I do like a lot. So overall, in terms of brake dust, better than stock. So Paragon for a thumbs up right there with that, right? Now, if you want to move to the rear, I think the rear is better actually. And the rear, yeah, I mean, there's just a little wipe down there, and it's nothing too shabby. The brake caliper too, as you guys can see, is still super clean, which is nice. Definitely appreciating that aspect of it. And then if you guys want a little pop out, that's how it looks on the rear, right, with the new rotor. And then if you want to pop back to the front, this is how it looks in the front as well, which I think it looks pretty slick. I think next time, we decide to stay with Paragon next time, I think what I'm gonna do is get the upgraded rotors for the rear. And when I say upgraded, I mean they actually had a bigger size. I think it was a bigger diameter. Might not be a bad option to kind of look into and see kind of how that will phase out. But other than that, how the car drives really well. I will say, when I first got in the car, the bite was super aggressive, and I said, oh my God, I wasn't expecting it. So like, I barely had to tap on the brakes for this thing to even want to just start stopping, which I thought was awesome. Performance wise out of them, great. My only complaint about it is that they do make noise. Now, if anybody else has swapped out to the Paragon brakes, let me know down in the comments, but they are super squeaky. Like, when you're gonna go, like when you're rolling to a stop and you're braking, you will hear like a ying, and a little annoying, yes, but I know it's not because the brakes are failing. It even warns you on their website, right, that they might make some noise. So that would probably be the only downside to it. The Brembo ones didn't do that. I think I hear it more from the rear than anything else. So when I jack up the car again, I'll just go ahead and check and make sure that, you know, things are greased up, that the way they should be. Nothing's loose, right? So we'll definitely be coming to make that check here soon. But other than that, it works really well. I can't complain. I think the actual upgrade itself, big plus, super worth it. The work wasn't horrible, like I said. The only thing we had to do is just drill out the bolts for the star screws that were holding, the Phillips screws that were holding in the rotor. Other than that, everything else went really, really smoothly. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the little ride here with me, and then showing you guys exactly what you needed to do to swap out these, not only the rear brakes, but swap out the rotors. Once again, I'm gonna put the tool I was using, the scanner, I'll put that in the description so you guys can see it in case you wanna buy it. There's also a Bluetooth option, so you don't necessarily have to get the one with the cord. I just prefer the one with the cable. It makes life easier for me. But if you wanna go full wireless and download the app, there is another one that you can do as well. I'll put the link for that one too. I think that one's a little bit cheaper, so. But we'll leave it here. Next week, get ready. There is a nice video coming. I just fired away as well as a little update for you guys on the last of the parts to get this over 500 horsepower. So all of that is in flight. The only thing I haven't ordered yet was the turbo, because it is on a pre-order. So I might try to, you know, reach out to them this upcoming Monday and seeing how I can kind of get that worked out, because the pre-order wouldn't come to my house until September-ish, and September's a ways away, right? We don't want to wait 2 months for this. We'll see, but that's kind of where it's at right now. But get ready, because all the other parts are in flight. I got some more parts here in the house, so a lot's gonna be happening, a lot that I've never done before, which means hopefully you guys have never done it before, and we hopefully at the end of it too, we leave you a little bit more comfortable with, you know, doing a bit more work on your own car yourself. That's it though. I'm gonna leave it here. Hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. I hope you spent it with family and it was awesome. I'm gonna go back inside, run some errands before I gotta travel for work. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a hot one again. Absolutely love the heat. I will take it any day over snow. I don't care what anybody says. All right, but as always, man, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the bright sun, enjoy the heat. Go outside, don't stay in. Other than that, you know the drill, guys. As always, go ahead, local, take it easy, because I am out.